This is Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Jo Reed, and Ellen Minskoff has been my guest for the entire week, and you have had some terrific books.
We're ending with essays again and a unique American talent. We are ending with Every Great Breath, New and Selected Essays, 1995 to 2023 by Rick Bass, and it's read by Rick Bass, and we will talk about that.
He has written so much. 30 books. 30 books.
He's a very significant environmentalist, too. He is a man of his place, and it's his adopted place, and that is Montana's Yak Valley, which at the center is Libby, Montana, one of the places in the world that's had some of the worst environmental deterioration due to mining of any place on the planet. But we need to, before we go any further, let's talk about Rick Bass as a narrator. Rick Bass is a Texan who now lives in Montana. But if you're going to listen to this, and I recommend listening to it because he's a very good writer and he's a deeply good human being, he does read with a twang. So if you are not ready, he's going to say far, he's going to say wow, and he's going to say equator. But he's a soulful, sincere, and aspirational human being and a fine literary stylist. So there's that mixture. I mean, one could have asked, well, Rick, how come you didn't have a narrator do it? Because I think he wanted his voice, and his voice is a Texan's voice. And I think it's one of those accents that doesn't leave you.
Yeah, I agree. Probably that's true. And from what I've read about this book, that these essays are really attempting to step back a little bit from noting the issues of the planet and really celebrating its beauty.
They're both. I mean, there are some big stuff about Libby
Okay.
and W.R. Grace and and that fight, but you walk away from these essays thinking, my God, the Yak Valley must be one of the most beautiful places on earth. And it is, maybe 20 miles from Idaho in places that I know very well, and it's absolutely a drop dead beautiful natural part of the planet. That's why it's so ironic and tragic that the mining of this mountain for asbestos has made people very, very sick. So both things are true. There's some beautiful nature writing, and yet there's some other essays that really deal with the tragedy of Libby, Montana, in that area. That's where he lives. That's his home place now for many, many years. This is a writerly audiobook in the best sense, that it is written very well and there are appreciations of others. And it also gives you a feeling of what that Yak Valley is like. There's a lot about grizzly bears. He is a guy who does deep research, and also there's a lot of experiential stuff. He has a close encounter with a grizzly bear with a mother and cubs. And so this is something that can't happen to you if you're walking down Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, I agree. Well, why don't we set up? What are we going to listen to?
This is an earlier essay about firefighters, who he is actually writing a celebration of, but this is about what they are like.
Okay. This is With Every Great Breath. It's written and read by Rick Bass.
It may seem like a cliche, and you may, when the talk turns to firefighters and especially volunteers, hear the easy stereotype, the armchair assumption of hero complex or boring home life needs excitement. It's not this way at all. Perhaps for a handful of them it is that way, but far more common, I think, are the ones who do it for the same reasons that any of us do whatever it is we do or dream of doing. The act of it, the doing, achieves a fit and an order with the rhythms and essence within. You run across fields with them, you race around town with them from call to call, and pretty soon you realize that it's just the way they are.
Okay, first of all, people think these people have hero complexes and their home life is boring. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that's why this is a wonderful essay, because it is that is so far from true. I'm sure people do think that.
Oh my God.
I think that's utter nonsense.
But I also like his narration. I love that understated passion. I find it very, very compelling.
I agree. That's why I think I said in the review that he's kindly,
Yes.
he's fair-minded, and he's eloquent at the same time.
Yeah, this was lovingly written. He's a great writer. He is a great writer.
He really
Yeah,
is.
and
He
I really
is.
can appreciate hearing him. And you and I can often say authors should not be reading, but no, I think he should be.
And that's why the exception sometimes proves the rule. I mean,
Absolutely.
certainly Stanley Tucci better read Stanley Tucci.
And that is With Every Great Breath. New and selected essays written and read by Rick Bass. Well, you've had an amazing week.
I think this was one of our best weeks, candidly.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a really, really great week. And thank you so much, Alan, as always.
And you are
And I'll
welcome.
talk to you next
And I
month.
look forward to it. I always do.
Today's episode of Behind the Mic is sponsored by the perfect audiobooks for the holiday season. Come Home for Christmas by Matthew West and 3 Romantic Stories in Mistletoe Season. Both audiobooks are available everywhere. Behind the Mic is produced by Jessica Lockhart. Robin Witten, Michelle Cobb, Emily Connolly, Alan Minskoff, and Kendra Winchester are our contributors. Jennifer Dell is our editor, and the music is William Ross Chernoff's Nomads 4-Way. And I'm your host, Jo Reed. Good listening.